Hi everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of the Business Behind the Craft podcast. I am your host Umo, and I'm super excited to have you here as we kick off this journey to reach millions of fashion entrepreneurs within Nigeria, within Africa, and beyond the shores of Africa. This podcast is going to reach millions of fashion entrepreneurs, and it is going to equip them with the requisite knowledge and skill that they need to build thriving fashion businesses. So this is our very first episode, and I want to take a moment to introduce myself, share with you what inspired me to start this podcast, and also give you a taste of what is to come. Every single week, we will dive into relevant topics such as branding, marketing, production, pricing, retail strategies, and industry insights. So join me as I talk with successful designers, industry experts, and entrepreneurs who share their experiences, lessons, and tips to help you build a profitable business. So whether you're tuning in during your morning coffee, or you're listening to this while pedaling your machine or drafting patterns, or you're just winding down after a very long day of being a boss and calling the shots, thank you for being here. Let's get started. So by way of introduction, my name is Umo Awana. I'm an economist with an MBA specializing in management. I'm a fashion entrepreneur and the founder and lead tutor at University of Pattern Drafting, as well as the host of the Business Behind the Craft podcast. Business Behind the Craft podcast was born out of the desire to bridge the gap between passion and profitability that became very conspicuous to me by reason of the numerous calls I keep receiving from fashion designers in their late 30s and 40s who said that they've literally put their life, blood, and sweat into their businesses and still have nothing to show for it in terms of revenue, market share, profitability, and growth. As a fashion designer, creativity is just one piece of the puzzle. You need to acquire the knowledge and wherewithal to turn that creativity into a profitable business. Now, speaking of profitable businesses, in season 1, we're asking a very crucial question, which is your business really making money, or are you just here counting bread? And we'll talk about pricing and how to set the right prices for your products and services, which is one topic that confuses so many people. As fashion entrepreneurs, we pour our hearts into creating beautiful designs, but are we actually running profitable businesses? Are we pricing our products right? Now let's talk about pricing. What is price? Price is the amount of money given in exchange for the sale of a product or services. And what is pricing? Pricing means the process by which businesses assign or set the prices at which they will sell their product or services. Now, a crucial question to ask yourself is, why does pricing matter? Why can't you just randomly and arbitrarily set prices? Or you just go to your competitor's Instagram page, look at what they're charging, and charge the exact same thing? Now, here are a few reasons why pricing properly matters. Number one is profitability. The aim isn't just to collect money for the sake of maybe just buying a new shoe or buying a new hair. Rather, pricing should be used as a means to strategically improve your company's profitability. So there has to be a balance in this one, because if you underprice your products or service, it means that you're leaving money on the table. Also, if you overprice your product or service, it will lead to lower patronage, which would eventually lead to lower profit or even losses. Now, the second reason why it's important to price properly is that prices determine perceived value. Now, let's say, for example, you have a Rolex wristwatch that you bought maybe like at about 5 million naira, and then maybe you have another Michael Kors wristwatch that you bought at, let's say, 100k. You would attach more value to that Rolex wristwatch by reason of the fact that the price is higher. So in essence, prices determine perceived value. The price of an item would determine the worth or value you attach to that item. So some clients and potential clients would interpret low prices to mean inferior quality and high prices to mean high quality. So pricing is important because it helps to determine at what point sales will be maximized. This is so important. Prices help to determine at what point sales will be maximized. You need to strike a balance. You don't overprice yourself and you don't underprice yourself, because there are disadvantages of both. So you need to be able to find a balance. Now, the third reason why it's important to price properly is that pricing can be used as a marketing tool to boost sales and stay ahead of your competitors. Having spoken about the importance of pricing, it's important to note that there are different strategies that different fashion houses employ in order to derive the prices they charge for their products or services. And this is what is referred to as pricing strategy. You need to master every single thing that I'm speaking about. So now let's touch on pricing strategies. We're going to touch on this in detail in episode 2. So guys, you need to subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. Click on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any video that I'm going to drop, because literally all of these videos that I'm going to drop in this season 1 is literally going to be fire. Now, I know that some people already use pricing apps. However, it's important to note that your goal per time should determine what pricing strategy you would employ. So for example, if you're a new entrant into a saturated market, let's say that you just rented a shop in Tejo Market that's already saturated with sellers selling tailoring items, and you're trying to gain customers, you can't just go and arbitrarily set prices that are higher than what your competitor is charging, or even charge what your competitor is charging, or just even charge what your pricing app is saying. So for example, maybe I think there's a general formula that I've seen flying around. Some people say your cost multiplied by 3, and all of that. Sometimes there are different pricing strategies. Actually, there's cost plus pricing strategy, where you add a markup to your direct cost in order to determine what your price will be. There are different pricing strategies, but you need to be able to read the room and determine which strategy is relevant to your business per time based on your business goal at that point in time. So for example, I'm going to give you a very practical example, right? So when Glow was coming into the market, right, the strategy Glow used, pricing strategy Glow used, was penetrative pricing strategy. At that time, MTN SIMs were very expensive, and then Airtel was called one other name that I cannot even remember, but the SIMs were so expensive. I think they were like maybe 20k at that time or something, and 20k was big money. 20k is not 20k now, right? So young people like us at that time, like children like us at that time, couldn't afford kind of money to get a SIM. Now when Glow was coming into the market, the strategy they used was to offer lower prices for their SIMs, and by reason of that is how they were able to gain a lot of customers. And because they were even charging lower prices, MTN and the others were forced to even bring down the prices of their SIMs as well. Again, I think another thing Glow did was, I don't know if they were the ones that invented the per second billing thing. If you know about this, just drop it in the comment section. Which of these telecommunication companies invented that per second billing thing? If you know the answer, just drop it in the comment section. So one of them introduced that per second billing thing, and that also helped them to gain customers. So you need to be able to read the room, understand what your business goal is per time. If your business goal is to gain new customers, then you should be using that penetrative pricing strategy. Now, it's important to understand that when you're using penetrative pricing strategy, it means that you're charging a lower price than your competitor for a short time just to be able to gain customers. Now, you need to understand that the disadvantage of that is that in the short term, you will lose a bit of your profit. However, you will gain the customers that you need. And then over time, you can also increase your price again. So there are different pricing strategies. You need to be able to read the room and understand what your business goal is at that point in time before you determine what pricing strategy to use. You cannot just go and download one app or buy one app and then for every time that's what you are just using. There are certain times that your goal is to sell off old stock. When you're trying to sell off old stock, you're obviously going to use a different pricing strategy. You're not going to go back to your app and start using the price that your app suggests, right? So this is why it's important to understand pricing strategies and know which strategy to employ per time. So we're going to talk about this in detail in episode 2. And if you're not subscribed to this channel at this point, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and click on the bell icon so that you get notified when we upload a new video. And also, because the goal is to equip fashion entrepreneurs with the requisite knowledge that they need to build their thriving fashion business. If you know any fashion entrepreneur that is trying to build their business, make sure you share this video with them, because the podcast and this series is going to reach millions and millions and millions of fashion entrepreneurs. You want to be one of the people that one can point to and say, it was the video that you shared with me that has helped my business. Thank you for tuning into my podcast. I have had such an amazing time. Watch out for season 1 episode 2 that's going to drop next week Sunday by 6 p.m. Ciao guys.